Now, the last time we see the FTX Zorro here on the channel was when we took it out with my good friend Alex, who's also known as the RC Noob. Now, he's an absolute beginner in the RC world, which is why I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to get his opinion on what he thought of this cheap trophy truck. Now, we both agreed that it did feel a little bit underpowered, which is why today I've just finished fitting a brushless conversion. We're going to talk about that and then we're going to take it out and see how it performs. So let's get straight into it. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at my brushless conversion on this FTX Zorro. Now, the last time we took this out, this was running the stock brush setup. Now on 2S, it really didn't feel that fast. It was a nice sort of pace, but it just didn't feel fast enough. Now, the stock ESC that you get included on the brush setup does actually support 3S. We actually fitted a 3S pack, and it didn't take long before the motor started getting really hot. It then started smelling of burning, and before long it actually gave up. As Alex actually demonstrated towards the end of the video, this thing got seriously hot. I think we're going to leave the video there today. Oh! What's wrong with you now? Now, on the way home, we actually spoke about doing a brushless conversion on this because I actually thought that would be a really good way to liven this thing up, especially considering the size. I think a cheap brushless conversion on an already cheap package would definitely make this thing an excellent choice for someone who's looking for a trophy truck or a slightly bigger 1/10 scale model. Fitting a brushless system to this was definitely a very good idea. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have just purchased this truck or you're looking to purchase this truck, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the stock brush setup. And if you intend to use the included nickel metal hydride battery, you're going to get on absolutely fine. You're not going to face too many heat issues. If you decide to use a 2S LiPo, again, just keep an eye on heat. But I'm pretty sure you're going to be absolutely fine if you choose to run a lithium polymer pack on your stock electronics. But today, the only reason I'm doing this brushless conversion is because I do like speed and I do think this has got a little bit more to give. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest RC content. We are getting seriously close to 10,000 subscribers now, so hit that button and let's make it happen. Right, so let's take a quick look at the electronics and then we'll get this thing out and give it a test run. Now, we're using a 60 amp Hobbywing Easy Run Max 10, which is going to be more than enough for this 1/10 scale trophy truck. Now, we've got a 3500 kV Surpass Hobby motor and we're using the stock gearing. Now, I would prefer if this was geared a little bit lower, but they don't actually include an adjustable motor mount. So we're running a 23 tooth pinion and the corresponding motor mount, which is fixed in position, so you can't adjust your mesh. You just have to go with it, but it should do absolutely fine on this setup. I don't think we're going to get any cogging issues, but we'll see how we get on. And then finally, the servo. Let's flip this around. We're using a Banggood Special. It's a 25 kilogram servo. And as always, I will leave a link in the description below for you to go and check that out. Now, a 25 kilogram servo on something like this is probably going to be overkill, but it's one I had spare. Now, the one thing I would say and the one thing to consider, I did have to remove a little bit of plastic on the chassis to get this to fit in. The stock servo that they include on this is a little bit of a weird size, which is why I've had to remove some of the plastic, but it will fit in, as you can see, and that should really make the steering a lot better on this because it did feel a little bit sluggish on its stock setup. Now, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to actually take this out. We'll see how it performs on its new brushless setup. Now, we're going to go to two different places today. We're going to test this out on grass, on 2S. We're then going to test it out on a dirt area, which is where I think this is going to be a lot of fun. After that, we'll talk about whether or not it's actually worth doing the brushless conversion. I'll give you my opinion on it, and then that'll be that for today. So guys, let's head out, and I'll see you in a moment. Now guys, I'm just testing this out on 2S today. I think 2S is going to be more than enough on this setup. Now, when me and the RC Noob Alex tested this out, I think that was about a month ago now, the truck did feel a little bit underpowered. And one of the other things we noticed was the steering was a little bit sluggish. and it felt a little bit lazy. Now, since we're running the new servo, one of my favourite Banggood specials, this truck just feels completely different to how it did before. One of the only, not issues I faced, but one of the things just to be wary of is because this is a cheap truck, you don't have the ability to adjust your gear mesh when it comes to changing pinion. So I have been restricted to using the stock pinion, the 23 tooth pinion. So this is geared a little bit higher than I would like. I think this could potentially do with gearing down a little bit, just to prevent any cogging issues. Now, I'm a massive fan of this truck, especially at the price. You really do get a lot for the money. That's pretty much like all FTX cars at the moment. They offer you a huge amount for the money, and I am a big fan of FTX. So there you go then. As you see, this thing performed really well. It done really well on the grass and on the dirt, and I think fitting this cheap brushless setup was definitely the way forward. Now, I think for most people, like I said earlier on in the video, the stock setup is probably going to be more than enough. But for me, I was just craving a little bit more power and speed, and especially with that new steering servo now as well. The steering really has livened up a little bit. That was one of the complaints I made, and one of the complaints Alex made on the original video as well. We did feel that the original steering servo was a little bit sluggish. I think if I can remember rightly, it was only a 6 kilogram servo. Now, I really do think this is going to be an excellent choice for a beginner. Whether or not you convert to brushless is entirely up to you. But going back to the original video, Alex really didn't go easy on this thing. I think at one point he even crashed it into a tree, and it was absolutely fine. He was very impressed with how durable it was. Our only complaint was that it didn't feel that powerful, but we have addressed that issue today, and fitting this cheap brushless system has definitely made this an excellent little trophy truck. And as mentioned before, you really do get a huge amount of features for the price. I really like the body shell, I like the tyres, I like the fact that you can make so many adjustments to the chassis itself. I really don't think you can go wrong with this one. So was it actually worth doing a brushless conversion on this then? Well, yes, absolutely, because as you see in the test run footage, I was very pleased with how it performed. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money to convert yours to brushless if you decide to do so. The one thing I would say is I think acceleration wise, I would prefer to go for the 17 tooth pinion, which would mean you do have to get the corresponding motor mount as well, and I will leave links in the description below and the part numbers as well. If you do want to go for the 17 tooth option, then feel free go for that. It'd be really nice if they actually sold an adjustable motor mount, so you could pick and choose a little bit more when it comes to your pinion choice, but it is what it is, and I think going for the 17 tooth pinion is going to be the best way to go. So there we go then, guys. So we're going to leave the video there today, and maybe we'll get Alex back out again to give us his verdict now that it is brushless. But overall, a very worthwhile upgrade. If you're looking for a little bit more speed without spending too much money, this is going to be a good option for you. Now, I will leave some links in the description below. I'll leave some links to all the parts that I've used. I'll also give you some alternative options as well. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a nice budget brushless option for you on Banggood. So feel free, check out the links in the description below. Go and check those out. And if you do own one of these, definitely consider going brushless. Cheers, guys. We're going to leave the video there today, and I'll see you again soon on the next one. Take care.